Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Chris Dearborn, Managing Director on Nasdaq's Market Intelligence Desk, for an update on the Nasdaq-100 index, or what we call the NDX, one of the most liquid index ecosystems in the world, and also one of the top performers over the past decade and a half. Chris, it's great to see you as always. And you know, it's interesting when we get to the seasonal time of year in August and September, as we move out of earnings and start to think about, you know, the mad dash into Q4. This is when things get to be interesting in the index.
Absolutely. You know, August traditionally is one of the worst performing months, along with May of the year. Generally, it's because that summer malaise. We'll see if that happens again this year with COVID, with everything that's going on. A lot of traders take time off. Volumes generally decline across the board, and earnings, for the most part, about 60 to 70% done for the larger cap companies. We've still got a couple of big names to go through here, but it starts to wind down, and we'll start to pick that back up in September. Last year was not the case, obviously, with the COVID, and this year, well, it's a kind of a mix. I don't think we're going to be back to normal for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's interesting how it's sort of timing up on the same thing now as we get into the back to school season. Of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going to start to get cooler weather. So it's going to be interesting to see if it mirrors what we saw in September. But let's stick with what we have today. Let's pull up your first chart here and take a look at some fresh technical levels to watch on the Nasdaq-100.
Absolutely. So the Nasdaq-100 index is firing on all cylinders, absolutely doing, it's a beast. Again, made all-time new highs both intraday last week and also closing new highs. The index also peaked, if you look at the bottom of the chart, on the relative strength index, just above 70 last week, pulled back a little bit, and now it's trending at a 61, which is telling me that it's reloading again for a possible run to another new high. Support here is still pretty stable. We talked about it over the past few weeks, and first major support is at 1480, and then below that, we're sitting at 14,050 maybe, right in that ballpark, which kind of coincides with the Fibonacci retracement. The 50-day moving average is continuing to slope higher. That's 14,360. Again, another strong level for the index, but we haven't had to test that level since the May pullback in early June, when the index was seeing a little bit of struggles there on the earnings here. Look for the index continuing to make higher highs. Again, we have a couple of items that could draw into this, like earnings, as well as a couple of other items with China and more comments around inflation and interest.
All right, and Chris, for your last chart here, let's take a look at the constituents that are adding to the performance.
Yep, we've got 60 in the green versus 40 in the red today. Tesla's the big boy in the chart this week, adding almost 25 points to the index. That stock's breaking out as well, so keep an eye on Tesla. If Tesla's breaking out above $700 today, it's a big move with the equity, and if that move continues, that's going to be a significant amount of points added to the index for the rest of the week.
All right, Chris, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.